Guys, this is Skinless, the guild leader for the Alliance Guardians, and today we're going to be looking at the Fleet Mastery event for the Executrix. So as far as for the Fleet Masteries, as we know, these are going to be where you can start working on getting your 7-star capital ships for the Endurance, Executrix, and the Home One capital ships. And these events are going to be coming around monthly. They are for not the entire start once, unfortunately, like the original battles are through tier 6. So as far as for possible rewards go, you can earn up to 15 shards, and you get some abilities along, or ability mats along with that, which is just some extra bonuses. So these events do need to be replayed consistently if you are going to be playing without spending any refreshes. This does take 7 months to do, as you can get 15 shards a month, and you're going to need 100 total. So I do recommend, if you are working on your fleet and in a position where your guild is not able to get the GET2 currency to work towards malevolence and the negotiator, you're going to need a 7-star capital ship to remain relevant essentially in your fleet shard. So it's definitely worth it to at least do one refresh each time if you can, but it's not required. So as far as required units go, is you're going to be dark side ships in general. They just need to be 6-star or up. So what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to go ahead and give it a run. And like most of these events, these are going to be more about kill orders than anything else. And taking care of things quickly and efficiently. So we're going to go ahead and jump into the battle. And what we're going to do is I'm going to go ahead and take out my top ships here, because I think that to give you kind of more of an idea of what you can end up expecting is a lot of times you can use lineups such as the bugs. These are going to be ships that you're going to have access to early on, especially in the Galactic War Store. Most are going to have like an Imperial TIE Fighter right off the bat. So we're going to use some of the lower ships on my spectrum here, just to kind of give a clear representation of really what is possible. The other thing is that instead of showing the bugs, because I do have my bugs quite well geared for the bot mission, accolade, and whatnot, we're gonna go ahead and go with like a TIE Fighter style startup. And so we've got our TIE Fighters just kind of off the bat, just another set there, and then we'll probably throw some of my lower end ships for the reinforcements. When you go for this event for the first time, you're gonna, or through any time up until you get the unlock of the 7th star, because this is still replayable afterwards and just becomes shard shop currency. You are only going to have 3 reinforcement spots, so you're going to want to pick your reinforcements carefully based upon what abilities you can get from their to boost your fleet. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump in here with this team here. So, and the ships I've chosen are, they're actually very easy to farm pretty early on. The only one that might be a little different would be the First Order Special Forces TIE Fighter, but we're kind of just going with the TIE Fighter theme here. So what I will usually end up doing is just, because you're going to take out the same lineup each time, you've got Biggs, you're going to have your Phoenix ships. The Phoenix ships are going to work well together, but Biggs is going to be the real taunter. So I actually start off with just trying to do what I can with Biggs, as usually when you're starting this out, if you haven't already invested a lot in your pilots and your fleet, you may not be able to get the damage out that you need to take down one of the Phoenix ships before Biggs starts getting up his protection up and his taunt. So we're going to go ahead and just give it a couple hits there. The TIE fighters, they work really well off of target lock. That's kind of their big special mechanic. So we're going to go ahead and just start there. Now, there's a couple different things you can do from here. If we want to use the basic, this is going to be inflicting tenacity down, which can be great for adding on additional target lock and things like that to kind of mess with turn meter, as well as we do have your heavy ion cannon, which is going to be allowing for ability blocks and some additional debuffs on there, as well as the chance to expose. So my abilities in my capital ship are maxed, so you're going to have one tier lower than where I've got them at, but it all is all relatively the same. So usually I'm going to go ahead and go with the AoE just to see if I can get some ability blocks to kind of cripple off their fleet. So you can see I'm starting to take some pretty decent damage here. And now we can go ahead and I will jump back to Biggs, because again, he's going to end up getting his protection up consistently, and then you're going to continue having the other side start to pull. So we can do the basic, or we can go ahead and deal physical damage to a target enemy and gain foresight for 2 turns. We have a target locked enemy, which is why I'd want to use this, because when you see this little portion down where it says the target lock, that means that if you have a enemy on the field that is target locked, which is going to be that first symbol there on Biggs, you also add that ability on there. So let's go ahead and throw that in there. And now that we've gotten rid of Biggs, I usually will actually start going after this one here. And the reason why I do this is because it gains the foresight and it gains the taunt, and it's just it's a I'd say it's the easier ship to actually go and work around, since the other one's not going to be doing as much damage. So I'm just using basics here. You can be going through and using your specials pretty consistently to get more damage out, but it really is all about kill order. When picking your reinforcements, you do want to take a look and kind of see what you need. My gauntlet, we're going to be getting extra protection, and because I went with a bunch of Empire on there, they're going to get some additional benefits. There's Scimitar, which is going to be giving additional critical chance. So in this case, if I had a little more of a healthier fleet, or if I had a less healthy, or I guess it's not exactly unhealthy, but if all these ships were for sure Empire, I would probably go the other way. So you just want to look at the abilities essentially here. So as far as for like Tide Reaper, we can remove turn meter from all enemies. This is just things you need to know, just so that way if you're in a bind, you know that you can call in a specific ship to do an additional bonus to give you some advantage. So we're going to go ahead and call the Gauntlet in to heal up anything that we can. There we go. Didn't do a whole lot just because the special forces, the TIE fighter there, 2 of them are first order rather than being Empire. So it does give some benefits though. Again, I'm going to go ahead and just run the basic, and there we go. We got another enemy in here. So it looks like Cassian has entered the battle. Cassian's going to be dispelling all buffs on the target enemy, which is going to be one of your ships. So there's a good chance that you could lose somebody there if you have not already been spamming your specials and try to get out as much extra damage as possible. So this is one of those events that really continues to push the idea of understanding your kits and understanding the mechanics that go into them and what they, how they all work together. So let's see. So like here, we're going to go ahead and take a look just to kind of get our idea of whether we want to use basic, or in this case, all allies gain that turn meter and offense up, and then Empire allies gain that potency and defense up there. So I would go with this because I want to be able to deal more damage right off the bat. So I could have done that with pulling the Scimitar, but instead now I can just do it with my capital ship, and I had healed up my ships for a little additional. So let's go ahead and just continue taking out this guy here. Now, some people do like to switch over to Cassian. I found that because you've already been working um, on a ship, you'd never want to jump around between ships. You really want to just pick one and stick with that one before moving forward. And the reason for that being is if you keep changing around, they're going to keep healing each other, assisting each other, and end up in a spot where you're going to end up having them get their ultimate off, and you're not going to be able to come back from that necessarily. So we're going to go ahead and pull out the scimitar here and give some extra buffs here. Let's see. Again, go ahead and use basic. So since this isn't necessarily a video on how the mechanics work for each individual ship, we're not going to go to each individual ability, but it does show you kind of a kill order more than anything else, and how this event really is not difficult, it's just repetitive. So now we've gone ahead and we've gotten our victory. We get our 15 shards and some additional mats there. The most important are going to be your prestige mats here. I have quite a few of them. It does take a total of around, I believe it's 1900 to max a capital ship from 1 star to 7 stars abilities. So I have some hoarded up for some capital ships on the way. And let's go ahead and take our reward. And then this is the kicker. For 800 crystals, you can do the refresh. As an individual who's free to play, and I have to be very frugal with my crystals as need be, I still find this to be an investment that's worth it, especially if you could do it each time, just one refresh. I believe there are multiple that you can do past the first one. So you could do it multiple times essentially and get the ship a lot faster. But this cuts the time in half when you can refresh at least, once every time. So instead of taking it 7 months, you could do it in say 3 or 3.5. So I hope that you enjoyed the video and you were able to kind of get an idea of how this event works, and we look forward to seeing you in the next event that we're going to be covering. So as always, like or subscribe if you appreciate it, and Skinless is out.